Welcome to Explain America. I'm your host, Kyle Becker. It's over. The Democrats are surrendering. President Donald Trump's fight against crime in the United States has just gotten a big boost, and it's coming from an unlikely place. A Democratic governor? But before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, Donald Trump made a salvo, a shot across the bow, to blue state governors and mayors weeks ago when he announced that he was sending the National Guard into Washington, D.C. and federalizing the police force under Attorney General Pam Bondi. Since then, homicides have plummeted. It went at least 11 days without homicides, and number of different types of crimes have dropped by double-digit numbers. But an unusual thing happened. The Democrats in the media stomped their feet, objected, got angry at Donald Trump, and claimed that he was trying to stoke violence. Obviously, the numbers did not back them up, because weeks into his federalization of the police force under the Home Rule Act and the National Guard presence in D.C., a funny thing happened. The Democrats started hearing from their usual constituents that they actually like the safety and security. Imagine that. Well, some governors, maybe the least stubborn ones, have conceded that perhaps crime is a problem in their states and cities after all. Now, in Chicago, of course, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he wants none of it. And the governor there, J.B. Pritzker, is backing him up, saying that his help is not welcome in the Windy City. Well, there is a governor out there, someone who isn't as prominent on the national radar, and that is Maryland Governor Wes Moore. And of course, we know one of the cities in his state has been dealing with rampant violent crime for well over a decade, and that would be Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, as anyone who's been there, knows that there are beautiful parts of the city, and right next to those beautiful parts of the city, there is completely rabid crime and also just simply run down, underdeveloped, and dilapidated areas where you just simply can't feel safe bringing your family there. So it's been an unfortunate situation in Baltimore for a long time. It seems like the Democratic Party, wherever they have entrenched power, they simply do not do right by their constituents. They don't protect them, even though that is the first duty of government. And it seems like the Democrats have forgotten that. Well, for whatever reason, Governor Wes Moore is actually asking Donald Trump, send in the National Guard, send in federal help, help us get this city stabilized and under control.
Governor, I appreciate the investment, but it would just seem to me, if despite that investment, Baltimore still ranks third in the nation in violent crime rate per capita in the nation, that you would welcome in the President of the United States help if crime in Maryland. And as to the point of partisan politics, it's simply the truth. The truth isn't partisan. And the truth is most of the major cities in the United States are run by Democrat governors, and they're also the highest rate crime cities in the country. I'm on limited time, and I want to give you a chance to address something,
I would
though, Governor.
absolutely
because President
welcome
Trump brought
federal
it up.
support.
Apparently, there we go. You would welcome federal support. That's wonderful to hear.
I would absolutely welcome federal support.
Happy to hear that.
But I also know what federal support is going to be necessary and required. It's the reason that I've said we would love to have additional support for license plate readers, things that we know can actually stop crimes as they are happening and making sure that people are brought to justice, and not having $30 million cut from public safety budgeting that is coming from the federal government. That I would love to be able to make sure that the federal government can do things like ban ghost guns, and making sure we're eliminating these extended clips for Glocks, which essentially are turning Glocks into automatic weapons. I would love to make sure we're investing in local law enforcement, because we are watching cuts that are happening to local law enforcement and also gun safety funding.
Governor, we can't let all of that stand in the way of the immediate solution being offered by the federal government. Well, you can't let all of that stand in the way and be an excuse for rejecting the solution being offered at the doorstep, which is the help of the federal government when it comes to the National Guard. And
for whatever reason, whether outside consultants told him, hey, the Democratic Party's branding is looking very terrible right now, and we need to do something to look like we have common sense, or otherwise, maybe he just has a conscience. Who knows? We can't really tell that. But it will benefit the city and the people of Baltimore if Donald Trump is able to just send the National Guard in and stabilize these areas and put the word out to violent criminals. It's not going to be accepted. And they will be brought to justice if they hurt or harm American citizens in their city. So tell us what you think about this. This seems like a major breakthrough to me, at least in terms of the messaging. President Trump is forcing Democrats through pressure, through his control of PR, through his counter messaging, and it's breaking through the noise of the stranglehold that the Democratic Party has had on the mainstream media for a long time. Well, that media, not so mainstream anymore, is it? Because thanks to people like you watching on YouTube, getting an alternative point of view, and also through social media channels, whether it be X or Truth Social, for example, you're getting access to information, and it is making a difference. And it may lead to better lives for people in inner city. This is the eye on the prize that we have been having here in the alternative media for a long time, and it can only happen with your support. So please like, share, and comment Explain America. Give your voice to this. Support Donald Trump's measures if you believe that people deserve safety and security. And we appreciate hearing from you.
And I want to give you a chance to address this, Governor, because the President of the United States has brought it up. In 2006, on your application for a White House fellowship, you put on your application that you were the recipient of a Bronze Star, I believe also with a Combat Action Badge. That was not true. You have apologized and said it was an honest mistake. Here's what President Trump said. Did Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, lie about getting his Bronze Star? The question, Governor, is why did you let it go on, even if it was a mistake, for years and years and years as you were celebrated as having a Bronze Star?
I'm very proud of my service to this country. And I think, and I'm not sure if you've served, Will, but I think as anyone who has served in this country, if you look at what we were able to do overseas and the fact that I was recognized by the United States Army with both the Bronze Star and the Combat Action Badge, I think I'm not only proud of the service that I have done to this country and the fact that I was willing to put my life on the line, wear the uniform of this country, overseas and lead soldiers, but I also know that the soldiers that I serve with are also proud. And also I know that most soldiers and most veterans know the ridiculousness of this line, and especially when they know that as someone who's actually led soldiers in combat and someone who's actually led led people overseas, and to know the United States Army actually recognized me with these awards, I think it does matter.
Okay, Governor, first of all, I appreciate your service. I appreciate your service in combat. It's not something that I did, and I recognize and honor your service for this country, and I mean that sincerely. But this is important because it's not ridiculous.
And I appreciate that.
It's important to know that you also are telling the truth. And you did get the Bronze Star, but you got the Bronze Star 2 years ago. And that 2 years ago, you got the medal, you got a citation, you got a ceremony. But you claimed it in 2006 when you didn't have any of those things. So you would know if you got the Bronze Star. The question is, why did you claim it for so long before you got it? And by the way, the Pentagon has responded to this. I want to read you a statement from DOD. They have something to say about this as well. The Pentagon said in 2006, Wes Moore listed a Bronze Star on his resume he didn't have until 2 decades later. Wes Moore is a perfect example of a politician who inflates his resume and hopes no one notices. Your response, Governor?
My response is I'm very proud of my service, and I'm thankful that the United States military has recognized my service in Afghanistan.